Hi, this is GMac for the Razor Company and welcome to another shave. Today's focus will be on an Artist Club razor, and that of course is the very popular Blackland Vector TI. Stay with me. Let's talk about Artist Club razors. You get them now not just in stainless steel, you get them in aluminum, you get them in brass, copper, titanium, so many different metals. And for the longest period of time, well, the Blackland Vector was one of the groundbreaking designs. And the main reason for that was this beautiful, let me put it up there so I don't mar the view, this beautiful slim head. And this was masterclass from Shane of Blackland Razors. Later on, of course, and today you do have the Alpha Spirit, which is done by Steve Tinto, which also has a very thin head profile. But when Shane created this, a lot of razor companies at that point of time hadn't started making those really slim heads. So to me, it was groundbreaking in that way. Beautiful handle to go along with it. It's 95 millimeters, the handle. It's a fairly thin and long razor. What I do like about it is that the diameter, while it's really thin on top, if you look at this here, well, this really has a little bit of knurling. It's got a knob at the bottom. It's a very comfortable razor to hold. It's also got a center spot. I would gauge, the balance would be pretty much, at the center itself. And very nimble razor. And keeping in mind the fact that this is titanium, let's talk a bit about this. 44.5 grams. That is what the razor weighs, 44.5 grams. Now, if you want to get yourself a razor, let me tell you a bit about this razor. I wanted to get a Blackland Vector, and then I reached out to Carlos. You will see him on Instagram. He's the man behind, the lad who gets all our videos up on the screen. But Carlos Maderos, besides being a friend, he's also a lad, that you can reach out to when you need help. So I said, should I get the stainless steel Vector? And he said, yes, you should. So I did get it, and it's on the way to my place. Now, the stainless steel Vector, which is available right now at the Razor Company, weighs about 77 grams. And that's just a little bit more than this, which weighs 44.5 grams. This was given to me courtesy of my friend Nick. And that's the reason why I got to shave with it even before I get my stainless steel version. Is it going to make a big difference for me, the two metals? I don't think so. Having said that, most people find the Vector TI to be very nimble, the Vector stainless steel to be very efficient, yet very smooth, so I have no complaints. Let's shave with it. My first ever shave with the Blackland Vector. I decided to go with my favorite blade, which is the Schick Proline P30s. I absolutely love these blades. They are available at the Razor Company. Smooth, sharp, forgiving, beautiful blades. End of the story. So get yourself these blades if you don't have them. For the soap today, I decided to go with, I forgot to tell you, of course, one big thing before I get to the soap. The razor is made out of grade 5 titanium, and it's, to be precise, it's billet grade. So I just love looking at that design over and over again. I've got the blade loaded in there, as you can see. So it's going to be an interesting shave for me. I always like to inaugurate a razor for the first time and doing a video with it. It's a bit like an adventure. You're setting yourself up for a fail or for success. So let's find out. Barrister Man Noggin on Heaven's Door. I've got the sample. I also have the tub, but I still have to finish the sample. Let me show you what it's like inside. It's got a nice, gooey, chocolatey looking brown paste, almost a bit like fudge. The reason why I decided to go with this is I like Christmas. I like Christmas. I would have loved Christmas to be there right through the year. Like one of the songs, I wish it would be Christmas every day. I don't know who sang that. Was it Slade, or was it just one of those bands? But yeah, so Noggin on Heaven's Door actually has a scent profile of cream, cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, toasted hazelnut, rum, and I think that's pretty much the scent profile. Let me take a whiff and I'll tell you. It's supposed to remind you a little bit of eggnog. I think it doesn't. It reminds you more of Christmas cookies or a Christmas cake. That toasted hazelnut is right out there. It hits your nostrils so hard. the cinnamon, the nutmeg, and the clove follow. So the opening is really toasted hazelnut. And that light creaminess to it. Oh, this is so good. It's so good, really. If you're ever down, I think, and you really need something to lift you up, oh, nothing like Christmas cookies. So good. Noggin on Heaven's Dough. A brilliant name as well. Barrister & Man Omnibus base, so it's always going to be great. For the aftershave today, I'm going to be going with something that I thought had a little spice in it. Old Spice, made by Shelton. Sounds like a British name, but it's American. I do have the newer version of it. I don't have the old bottle anymore. For the brush, I'm going to be going with, if you're using a Blackland razor, the Blackland Signature brush. And this one, of course, is the Noir Knot. I absolutely love the way that it feels. It's really nice and plush, as you can see. 110 grams, billet grade aluminum. The knot is about 23 millimeters, and the loft is 53 millimeters. So I absolutely love it. It's a dense knot. It's a fairly dense knot. So interesting. Let's see how that goes. For the soap today, for the lather bowl today, Hendrix Classics and Company lather bowl. Let's get straight down to the shave itself and figure out how the Blackland Vector TI performs. So interesting. Well, there's one thing I wanted to mention, and that was, I was actually running through a lot of the soaps and the way that we work with them. Now, Barrister & Man tends to be, in the Omnibus base or in the Reserve base, tends to be a fairly, thick lather. It's a dense lather, but sometimes you can dial it up or down depending on the kind of, the amount of water that you mix in, how you hydrate it. But more importantly, there's one thing that I've learned over a period of time, and it's just me. Other shavers could work differently, but I tend to like a low structure lather. I don't like to beat up my lather. You're not beating up, eggs and cake batter, for a Christmas cake, even though this smells like a Christmas soap. But, and it was a Christmas release. It was a limited edition release of Christmas. So, but I like my lather. You treat the lather gently. Give it a good, few swirls around. Sometimes you'll see some wet shavers like to really go the lather and beat everything out of it. I just didn't want to say, the word, but I think treat your lather gently. You will always be rewarded with something good. So I'm going to go with, there it is, very creamy as always. I do love this brush. Great in the bowl, great on your face. Let's get started with the shave. And there's one thing that you will learn about Barrister & Man, whether my favorite base is the Reserve, but the Omnibus for me is very close. And I don't know why. It's just me. Some people love the Omnibus over the Reserve because they find it to be an improvement. Not necessarily for me. For me, it's the Reserve base has always been the best. The Omnibus, close to it. Absolutely love it. I mean, this kind of a lather is just absolutely divine. Oh, that cinnamon, that nutmeg, and that clove. If you are a fan of spiced cookies, you are gonna love the soap. I remember the description where it was said that, you shouldn't eat it when you smell it. It's very tempting. It's tempting to take a lick out of that bowl, actually. But really good. It smells brilliant. And I know the soap's been covered, many times before, but I still absolutely love to, talk about it, because I said Christmas is the most important time of the year for me, and it's about family. For me, it's also about prayer. It's also about, new beginnings. It's so many things, and of course, Christmas cookies and great food. I've always believed that the Blackland Signature brush, and I've said this to Shane myself, is one of the most underrated brushes ever. The way it works in your hand, the weight, everything about it, it's so ergonomic. And I do wish he brings it back, because if you get your hands on one, you just got to grab it. Beautiful brush. So here we are. I've got a good lather going. I smell, well, I'm not going to go further than that. Believe you me, if you have, the soap on you and you've got a pretty girl next to you who likes Christmas cookies, she's going to bite your cheeks. And I'm just trying to say the soap is that good. So let's go with the first pass of the Blackland Vector TI. I'm very excited about it. There was a lot of talk of how there's a learning curve. It does have an intuitive head if you look at it, it kind of dips down in this angle, but let's see how it goes. And there's always talk. So I had a 4-day growth today. And there's always talk about how you have to, it rinses really clean. I'm not even using a tap. I'm actually, working with just a bowl of water. There was always talk about how, sometimes you have to use a little bit of pressure when using the vector to get a very close shave. And I'm not going to gauge it after the first pass. I'm going to gauge it after 2 passes. Let's find out. Well, if you are like me and you kind of develop that light touch where you don't add pressure, it becomes a bit of a challenge when you use a razor that requires pressure. Different shavers have different shaving styles, but for me, if I have to find the pressure spot of a razor, I would increase it very gradually. 5%, I don't know how to measure that, but 5%, then probably go up to, maybe a 7.5 to 10%. I would not go too high. Strangely, when I was using the Blut 1.20, I had to increase it by almost about 40%. And there's a reason for it. The razor wasn't giving me an efficient shave, even though I was using a sharp blade. The moment I took it up to adding more pressure, the Blut just started performing like a champ. I can tell you one thing though, this is my first time with the Vector. It's a very comfortable shave. It's a bit predictable, and I like that. Because with an AC razor, you don't want to embark on an adventure. You want to have a reliable razor that you can predict of how it's going to behave and how you can control it. Extremely nimble. One of the most nimble razors I've ever held in my hands. Very, very smooth. And also keep in mind the fact that I'm using a Schick P30. Now, mind you, for me to get a BBS, I normally go with 2 passes, and it has to be with a fairly aggressive, not aggressive, but a high efficiency razor, because I like to do less passes. I have a lot of respect for, Shane and what he creates with Blackland. I have a lot of respect for the way that he conducts his business and the kind of lad that he is, really. You can always reach out to him if you're having an issue with the razor, something's gone wrong with it, or if you need a bit of advice. And I've repeated this many times. He's one of the few artisans who'll always tell you the Blackland, Blackbird, or the Vector, or whatever product of Blackland, it might not be the one for you. So take it, try it, 30 back, 30-day guarantee to return it back, and I think that's great. It kind of builds confidence as well in the wet shavers on his customers. Very smooth first pass. Very, very smooth first pass. I'm going to go straight with more lather. Let me, of course, just remind you that the goal test for this razor is really under the nose. Let's find out. So just going to go through my lather again. I've got a lovely lather in there. But ever since I started treating my lather gently, it started treating me well. I just love the smell of this soap. I don't know if you're a fan of eggnog, if you're a fan of nutmeg and cinnamon, and you like cinnamon in your coffee. This is the kind of shaving soap that you are going to absolutely adore. Kind of flew under the radar because it's a Christmas release, but if you can get your hands on one, just pick it up. Something about those limited editions, something about even, a soap like First Snow, I totally adore it. I love that soap so much. And maybe it's just because it's different from the regular cologne fragrances. And that's something that Barrister and Man, really do. And they excel at that, being able to recreate a scene, a season, or a certain event. And I think that is fantastic for any artisan to be able to do that. I mean, come on, anyone more or less can get a dupe of another perfume out, and we're all guilty of it. I love dupes. I love, a shaving soap that smells like Creed Aventus, or one that smells like Dior Homme Intense. But at the same time, I have the greatest respect for artisans that create something new. Just trying to get the soap out of my nose. I think we're good to go with the second pass. I'm very excited with the Vector TI. My friend Nick, if you're watching this video, thank you, buddy. Really appreciate it. And I'm also looking forward to getting my own, Vector stainless steel. It's going to be amazing. I cannot believe how nimble this razor really is. It's almost like a feather when you guide it on the face. And I'm going to be honest, I've never shaved with a Vector before. I've never shaved with a Vector Titanium before as well. So I'm just loving it so much. Now the issue is about how do I give this back to my friend? Just saying. Of course it's going to go back. Much as I would not like it to. It really is a beautiful shaver. It really is. I'm just surprised that, sometimes you come across all these reports and you come across this feedback where people talk about how the Vector was good for me, it was a bit rough, it was never smooth, the Vector was not very efficient, the Vector was super efficient, the Vector was super smooth, and then you really want to take the razor out for a spin and figure out, and I can tell you this without a word of lie, and I get nothing out of it by, for me it's only important, I'll praise the razor if I really think it's worth it and if I think you should, try it. And I can tell you it's a stunning razor. It really is a stunning razor. It's not difficult to find the angle at all. It's very easy to find the angle. Even though it's intuitive, you don't have to really go with the cap. In fact, what I'm doing is, rather than going with the actual flat face of where the dip is or the slope, I'm actually going slightly more steeper, and it's taking off everything very smoothly. Nice feedback that you'll come to expect from titanium. Whoever first put the metal together got to research that one. Or whoever first came up with the idea of titanium, God bless his soul and God bless his family. I'm a fan of titanium, not just razors, watches too, because it's just so easy to use on the arm. I remember the good old days when we all wanted diving watches and we'd go out and get those really expensive ones, and then you'd suddenly realize like you were carrying half your house along with you because it would weigh down on your arm. I'm exaggerating, but still. So what is your experience with the Vector? Do you have a Blackland Vector? What is your favorite AC razor? Tell me about it. I'd love to know. I'm not a guru of razors. I'm just another shaver like you, and I love to share the joy, but also love to learn. And I learned so much from, all the fellow shavers, who have videos for the razor company. I've learned so much from watching other shavers over the years, whether it's GMac, IMCDB, the inspector. The inspector brings his own honesty to the table. Or John Venturino, Stubble Meets Steel, lovely guy. Just going to do a quick check. That's a fantastic shave. 2 passes, a few touch-ups. Let me repeat this for you. Now, I do have the Shield AC, and I'm a big fan of Shield razors as well. And the Shield is very efficient, but it tends to get really close. I just feel that this is a tad bit smoother. It's smoother, and the titanium, just everything about this razor, the balance point, the handle, that head, it's absolutely beautiful. If you don't have yourself a Vector, go to the TRC website, and there is still the stainless steel one available. I'm very sure that soon, the Vector TI will also be stocked. But one of the most nimble razors I've ever used, and probably one of the top 2 razors I've ever used under the nose. So comfortable, so very comfortable. Just going to do a quick cleanup and do a recap of all the gear used today. So if you don't have a Blackland Vector, as I said, get yourself one. And those Schick blades, that Schick P30 is such an outstanding match. I know I've shaved close because I can feel it, but at the same time, it was such a smooth, comfortable shave. Absolutely stunning shave for me. So unfortunately that razor goes back, but let me very quickly recap the gear for you. Blackland Vector Titanium, that was the razor in focus today, and I'm going to say this again, one of the finest razors I've used. I'm across Artist Club and DE razors. This is a beautiful razor. I'm getting the stainless steel soon, but someday down the line I'm going to pick up a TI as well. Absolutely fantastic razor. I went with a match for it, the Blackland Signature, a brush with the aluminum handle, and the Noir knot, which is the black knot. Hendrix Classics and Company, one of my favorite lather bowls. Noggin on Heaven's Door was the soap by Barrister and Mann. I worked off the sample, and these are such a match. In my opinion, the best AC blades. Some, like the Kai, are mild. The pink ones, the Kai Captain pink, if I'm not mistaken. Some love the Feather Pros, some love the Supers. Schick P30. That's my go-to blade, just as the Wizomet is in the DE blades, but that's my personal preference. Old Spice. It sounds very British with the name Shelton, but actually it's American, so let's go with it. I mean, silly me, right? But I spent a lifetime thinking it was a British product. There's something about Old Spice. Every time I use it, it just takes you back to the days when you were a child. And as I said in college days, I've always said this, often said it, Old Spice was not expensive. And if you couldn't afford a deodorant, because you were studying in college and you probably got a bit of money working on holidays or part-time, but if you wanted to smell good, and that's what separated you from the other lads who did not smell that good, and that's when you could sit next to the girls, and that was Old Spice. So I still have a lot of respect for it. Absolutely love it. This, of course, is the new formula of the original, but it just smells so good. A little more citrusy, a little more lemony than the old one, which was more like a kind of a soapy, spicier kind of fragrance. But that's it. So that's it for the shave today. I do hope you enjoyed your time with me, and I do hope that I left you with something out of that shave. But it's time for me, GMac, to shut shop and ship out of here, and I'll be back with another shaving video really soon, for TRC. Till then, I'm going to say bye-bye for now, and happy shaves as always.